Welcome back to Never Done Ask with me, John Martin. I've had a bit of a break, and now station reviews. Let's see how many I can get through. We're going to start with the nearest station to me, Mauldeth Road. Start with the big ones. Well, start from the bottom and work your way up, really. Mauldeth Road is situated in the Lady Barn area of Withington in South Manchester, just a couple of 100 metres away from Lady Barn village centre. It's just under a mile away from both Withington village centre and the student area of Fallowfield. The station is also near the north part of Burnage. It sits on Mauldeth Road, hence the name, close to its junction with the A34 Kingsway. A road running next to the southbound platform allows that to be accessed from the north via Talbot Road, although since there is no way of crossing in station between the platforms, to reach the Manchester-bound platform you have to come in via the Mauldeth Road entrance. The station is about a mile north of Burnage Station and is just under a mile from Levenshulme on the Stockport line. Mauldeth Road itself is a long road linking Chorlton with Fallowfield, Withington and Burnage and parts of Stockport. Barlong Moor Road tram stop is at the west end of the road, but is a long distance away from Mauldeth Road. Standing on the platform, you can see the line run straight south. In the distance, you can see both East Didsbury and Burnage stations. Looking to the north, the line veers right, joining the main Manchester to Stockport line at Sleigh Lane Junction in Longsight. The Style line was opened up in 1909 by the London and North Western Railway to bypass Stockport and help relieve congestion. It links Sleigh Lane Junction in Longsight with the town of Wilmslow in Cheshire. Mauldeth Road for Withington Station opened up with the line. It's worth noting that the other station that served Withington, changing its name between Withington, West Didsbury and Albert Park at various points, opened up in the 1870s and is 1.5 miles away to the southwest. And it might get a video later, but it's a tram stop now. Next to a tram stop now. Fallowfield, also the station named for it, opening up in the 1890s, so Mauldeth Road was just named after the road it was on. The station lost its For Withington moniker in the 1970s. In 1923, London and North Western became part of the London Midland and Scottish Railway, and in 1948 it became part of British Rail. BR's electrification tests on the Style line paved way for the 25 kilovolt AC around the network that we have today. The station sidings and main building went in the 1960s, and bonfire night of 1986 put paid to the other buildings on the platform. The 1990s saw the opening of the spur to Manchester Airport that brought a massive increase in traffic to the line, making it very congested, except for when I visited for footage. The station consists of a pair of side platforms. Platform 1, the northbound, is 140 metres long. Platform 2, the southbound, is 146. National Rail classify this station as a Class D medium-staffed station, as opposed to the other ones next to further south, which are Class E. Marks for services, 4 out of 10. For a few years, the service at Mauldeth Road could be faintly described as a joke. While other stations on the line got multiple trains an hour, despite being busier in terms of passengers, Mauldeth Road either had just one train an hour or had 2 trains arrive close to one another, so there could still be gaps of up to 45 minutes between the trains. There were also a lot of skip-stop services on the line, which meant it was a complete pain to use the line to travel between local stations. The shambolic service wasn't helped by the regular train service, was a service from Crewe to Liverpool via Manchester Airport and central Manchester. The nature of the convoluted route meant it was often subject to delays and to cancellations. December 2022 had seen the service resort to 2 stopping trains an hour in each direction. The Liverpool service now terminates at Manchester Airport, and the other service runs from Manchester Piccadilly to Crewe via the airport. On Sundays, there's supposedly an hour service between Wilmslow and Liverpool. However, as you can see on my visit, the cancelled ferry had struck. Piccadilly station is only 8 minutes away by train. Burnage, less than a mile away, is just 2 minutes away. The airport is 14 minutes away on a stopping service. The link to Liverpool is handy, especially as the first trains in Liverpool have migrated away from Piccadilly station, but this is still a stopping service. According to the 2023 to 24 figures, Mauldeth Road had 302,858 entries and exits. This works out to be around 830 people per day using the station. This is the highest of the 3 stops in the city of Manchester on this line. However, East Didsbury gets more trains. Go figure. 470 services per week here, compared with 708 at East Didsbury, despite East Didsbury having 40,000 less passengers per year. The passenger numbers at Mauldeth Road work out at nearly 12.5 passengers per train. The Style line is a fairly busy line, and the number of non-stop trains between Piccadilly and the airport being one of the few stations that can terminate trains coming into Piccadilly from the north and west. It is a useful route for trains coming from the West Coast main line but wanting to avoid being routed through Stockport. As such, many freight trains have passed on this line. Of course, when I visited to get most of the footage for this, I managed to miss getting a train while I was in the park. Camera failed to work for one of the southbounds, and despite me hanging around for 20 minutes on one of the most congested lines of the network, I didn't see anything else until after I left. The leading destination for passengers to Mauldeth Road is Manchester Piccadilly, with 73,291 journeys in 23-24, followed by Manchester Airport, Liverpool Line Street, and then Manchester Oxford Road and Deansgate. Marked for onward travel, 2 out of 5. Onward travel is not poor in theory. The 25 bus runs through Mauldeth Road between Stockport and the Trafford Centre via Jordan. This bus used to be the 22, which extended to Bolton, but the route was split into 2 for reasons of reliability and the sheer insanity of that longer route. The 50 bus runs along Kingsway between East Didsbury and Salford Quays via the city centre. Although given the 50 route runs parallel to a train line heading south, the stations are so close together there isn't much use for the bus, and heading north, the bus goes back into the city centre, posing the question why you take the extra train journey just to double back on yourself. Although it might make more sense if you're travelling further afield, as the 50 bus doesn't stop in the city centre. Southbound near to Piccadilly or Oxford Road stations, and from personal experience, both the 50 and the 25 have timetables that have very little relation to reality. Accessibility, 7 out of 10. High on an embankment, both platforms are wheelchair accessible. There are no lifts. The Manchester-bound platform is reached by a ramp from Mauldeth Road. The southbound platform is reached by a ramp from the service road. The only way to traverse between the platforms is to head down to Mauldeth Road, cross under the bridge, and then head back up again. In one way, I can see there shouldn't be a need to cross. However, with Manchester Airport and Piccadilly close by, if your train is cancelled, it can be quicker to head the other direction and get a fast train back up. At the time of writing, the station is manned until mid-afternoon on weekdays, although National Rail website seems to contradict itself a number of times, so it may not or may have staff available to help on Saturdays or on the evenings. However, Northern were looking to close the ticket office. There are both PA systems and dot matrix displays. Marked for station facilities, 3 out of 10. Mauldeth Road is a very basic station. The building on one side was demolished and the other burnt down. There is a ticket office at the bottom of the ramp to the Manchester-bound platform, and there's a ticket machine next to it. Both sides are small covered waiting areas, along with help points and dot matrix displays. Standard dot matrix displays don't display the time, though when we were visiting, there was a new display being installed on the southbound. However, that wasn't working when I looked. Marked for care and character, 5 out of 10. Being a very basic station with no platform buildings or signs of staff, there isn't much to award this for character. It's not a station I'm keen to wait alone at night. That being said, well above roof level, it does mean I did once see a fantastic sunrise from this station. Friends of Mauldeth Road Station do plant some flowers here, sure, and do some litter picks, but under the platform there's a lot of rubbish, and you can see that as you're walking up. Marks for nearby things, 4 out of 10. Ladybarn Park is just outside the station. Ladybarn Village has some shops and a cafe, but those who want a post-train pint would have to look towards Burnage, as most of the pubs have gone in Ladybarn. There is a large B&M Home Bargains and a motorbike shop nearby. Overall, Mauldeth Road gets a mark of 25 out of 65, or 38%. It's a very basic suburban station, which does its job. It's accessible, it's reasonably clean, but other than that, there's very little to it. Please, if you like this content, like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next time, where I'll try and review another station, and it probably won't be nearby.